what is the true cost of a compliment? We spend our lives trying to buy the approval of others. We pay for it with our time, our energy, and our authenticity. We collect their praise like gold coins, thinking it makes us rich. But have you ever stopped to weigh your pockets? What if the approval you crave is actually the anchor that is drowning you? This was the burden carried by a man named Jaren. Jaren was a wealthy merchant, known throughout the land for his agreeable nature. He walked through life carrying a massive, ornate sack that clinked and chimed with his every step. Inside were thousands of glowing gold coins, but these were no ordinary coins. He earned one every time he pleased someone. When a client haggled him down to an unfair price, Jaren would agree with a smile. The client, delighted, would hand him a shining coin. Jaren would thank him, add it to his sack, and feel a momentary flicker of value. When his friends chose a restaurant he disliked, he would proclaim it was his favorite. They would clap him on the back, and another coin would appear in his hand. He would place it gently in his sack, feeling accepted. Every time he said yes when he desperately wanted to say no. Every time he hid his true opinion to fit in. Every time he silenced his own needs to serve another's wants. He was paid in this glittering currency. To the outside world, Jaren was the richest man in town. His sack was overflowing. People pointed and whispered about his immense fortune, but they never saw the price. The sack was crushing him. His back was permanently bent into a low bow. He couldn't run with the children in the street. He couldn't dance at the village festival. He could barely breathe under the immense, ever-growing weight. He was the most admired man, but he was a prisoner of his own loot. One afternoon, the weight became unbearable. Each step was a monumental effort. His legs trembled, his lungs burned, and the leather strap of the sack dug deep into his shoulder. He saw a small, humble shrine by the roadside, and, with a final groan, he collapsed beside it. The great sack thudding to the ground beside him, sending up a cloud of dust. As the dust settled, he saw a figure. It was an old man, dressed in simple, worn clothes. His pockets were visibly empty. He had no bag, no coins, nothing of worldly value. Yet this man was moving with a grace Jaren couldn't comprehend. He was dancing. A small bird was singing on a nearby branch, and the old man was swaying lightly to its melody, his feet barely touching the earth, a look of pure, unburdened joy on his face. Jaren, struggling to sit up, called out to him. His voice was hoarse from the strain. "Old man, how can you be so happy? You have nothing. No one praises you. No one gives you gold." The old nomad, whose name was Silas, stopped dancing. He turned to Jaren with a kind smile that seemed to reach his eyes. "I have nothing to carry, my friend," he said, his voice as light as his feet. "That is why I can dance." Silas walked over and looked down at Jaren's enormous sack. It shimmered with a dull, heavy light. "You have much to carry. It must be very precious." Jaren nodded, a hint of pride in his exhausted voice. "It is. It's my wealth, the most in the entire region." Silas gestured toward the bag. "Open your sack. Let us see this great wealth." With some effort, Jaren untied the leather cord at the top. The coins inside cast a warm, golden glow on their faces. "See," Jaren said, scooping up a handful. "These are the opinions of others, the proof that I am respected. They love me." Silas reached down and picked up a single, perfect coin. It felt heavy in his palm. He brought it to his mouth and bit down on it. There was a soft crunch. He pulled it away. Where his teeth had been, the bright yellow surface had flaked away, revealing a dull gray metal underneath. "This is not gold," Silas said gently. He tossed the coin back into the sack, where it landed with a dull thud. "Not the bright ring of true metal. It is lead, painted yellow. The approval of others is a currency that has no value in the bank of your own soul. You cannot buy peace with it. You cannot buy joy with it. You can only buy heavy pockets." Jaren stared at the marred coin, then at Silas, confused and defensive. "But it makes me valuable. It shows my worth." Silas shook his head, his expression growing more profound. "You think you are collecting value, but you are actually collecting debt. Every coin you accept is a promise. It is a promise to keep acting the way they want you to act, a promise to be the person they expect you to be, not the person you are. You are not rich, Jaren." Silas leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper that struck Jaren like a physical blow. "You are indebted to 1,000 strangers." Those words, "You are indebted to 1,000 strangers," they echoed in Jaren's mind. A bolt of lightning seemed to flash through his entire being. He looked at the heavy sack, not with pride, but with sudden, dawning horror. It wasn't a treasure chest, it was a cage. Every coin wasn't an asset, it was a bar. Every fake smile, every forced agreement, every buried desire was another piece of lead he had willingly chained to himself. The weight he carried wasn't an achievement, it was a punishment he had been inflicting upon himself, day after day. He saw his life flash before him, the parties he endured, the opinions he faked, the dreams he abandoned because someone else disapproved. Each memory was a heavy, leaden coin in that monstrous sack. He wasn't preserving his worth, he was burying it. Slowly, deliberately, Jaren rose to his feet. His knees popped, his back ached. But for the first time, he was not moving to please someone else. He was moving for himself. He grabbed the thick leather straps of his sack, the sack he had spent his entire life filling. With a powerful heave, he lifted it. He turned it upside down. A cascade of fake gold coins spilled out onto the dusty road. They didn't ring, they didn't chime. They landed with dull, lifeless thuds, rolling into the dirt and weeds, their painted yellow surfaces already chipping away to reveal the worthless gray beneath. He held the bag upside down until the very last coin had fallen out. Then he let the empty sack drop from his hands. He stood up straight. He stood up fully straight for the first time in years. A series of cracks echoed from his spine, a sound of profound relief. He took a breath, a real breath, a deep, full breath that filled his lungs completely without the crushing weight on his chest. He felt light. His pockets were empty. His bag was gone. By all appearances, he had nothing. But as he turned and walked away from the pile of lead and the empty shrine, leaving it all behind in the dust, Jaren felt richer than he ever had in his entire life. The moral is that seeking approval is a trap that weighs us down with the expectations of others. True freedom comes when we realize that the only validation that truly matters is the one we give ourselves.